in blockchain ecosystems. And that'll allow them to interact with blockchain kind of decentralized financial products, insurance products, games, like all the things that are being made within the blockchain that might require a person's ID in order to meet certain regulatory demands. And what the exciting thing there is that there's a very large universe of kind of use cases that want to be connected into front ends that can prove who somebody is. And the ability to prove that is actually very, very powerful. The other thing that I think is exciting is that once you can prove who somebody is, you can start incentivizing them in certain ways. So I think there's some interesting ideas around loyalty programs and any number of other things where, like, we know exactly who you are, and we know from your phone's GPS that you were at a Starbucks, and maybe you get some kind of Starbucks token, loyalty token or something. And so I think there's actually two dynamics. One dynamic is people using blockchain products more, and the second dynamic is the incentives of blockchains being able to flow to direct behavior of people offline. And that offline direction of their behavior is actually something blockchains and tokens and this ecosystem is historically very good at, and something that I think
I feel like we're just taking baby steps. We're at the very beginning of this thing, and for us at Unstoppable Domains, like, you can immediately see the huge improvement.
¿Qué a todos? ¿Cómo están? Espero que estén bien. Hay muchas cosas que están mal en este mismo momento. No salgo de mi casa porque me da miedo. Y está todo muy extraño allá afuera. Miren, les presento. ¿Qué a todos? ¿Cómo están? Espero que estén bien. Vamos a jugar a los Sims. ¿Qué a todos? ¿Cómo están? Espero que estén bien. ¿Están listos? ¿Qué a todos? ¿Cómo están? Espero que estén bien. Vamos. ¿Qué a todos? ¿Cómo están? Espero que estén bien. Hay muchas cosas que están mal en este mismo momento. No salgo de mi casa porque me da miedo. Y está todo muy extraño allá afuera. Miren, les presento a... ¡Soy drogadicto, mamá! Les presento a mi gato Nyan Cat. Di hola.
¡Hey! ¡Mejor aléjate, viejo! ¡Te voy a romper la cara!
Di hola, cabrón. Uy, lo voy a matar. Les prometo que habla. Dice cosas satánicas, pero sí habla.
Hasta la próxima.
Nyan Cat, puto. Güey, se fue. ¿Quieren hambre? ¿Quieren una Pop Tart? Tengo Pop Tarts. Yo no me las como porque no me gustan las cosas dulces. Pero bueno, ¿qué estaba haciendo? Ah, mierda, estoy grabando un video, es cierto. ¿Ya vieron mi horno de escalera? Saca bastante bien. ¿Están listos?
¡Estoy bien, pinches! ¡Listo!
¿Qué a todos? ¿Cómo están? Espero que bastante bien. ¿Están listos?
¡Estoy bien, pinches! ¡Listo!
Vayan.
are going to start breaking down more and more over time, and in certain categories start breaking down quite rapidly. So some of that stuff you see with social media, some of that stuff you see with the solvency of financial products, and some of that stuff you see with interfaces that allow people to interact with financial products. But everywhere that people are basically relying on a brand to act correctly.
Hola, ¿qué tal, amigos? Bienvenidos a un video más. Mi nombre
more divergence between the monopoly rent-seeking brand and the user's interests. What I feel that blockchains and smart contracts generally...
¿Qué hay, amigos? ¿Cómo están? Bienvenidos una vez más al canal. El día de hoy vamos a aprender de una de las criptomonedas, o más bien token, de hecho, más famosas en este momento, que más están haciendo ruido, que están en la boca de la mayoría de las personas, y es Chainlink. Chainlink tiene un precio actual de $3.78 y por tamaño de mercado
we provide weather data, and now people could have had, that could have never had crop insurance, have crop insurance through a blockchain because their local system can't enable crop insurance, but a blockchain smart contract can enable crop insurance. And the smart contract needs to know weather data. It needs definitive truth. It needs proof about weather events. And once that definitive truth and proof is delivered, at that point, you have a kind of new categories of contracts opening up. It's similar with decentralized identity. Once you have enough data that's appended to a decentralized identity to prove its accuracy, it passes a certain threshold of usefulness, and people can suddenly start, giving out universal basic income, or providing incentives, or allowing the person to interact with certain financial products on chain under very favorable terms because they know that as a unique, distinct person. So I think what's going to happen is the dynamics that users want to have with applications are much more aligned when that application is built using smart contracts and blockchains.
Yeah.
And I think decentralized identity and oracles are both going to drive the usefulness of those applications, and eventually actually going to be adopted by bigger Web 2.
¡No! Justo como me lo imaginaba.
Se está aquí controlando esto, se está controlando la cosa, pa.
Madre, chaval, Momonkun. Este sí que es otaku. ¡Puah!
A este no le pasé ningún clip mío, ¿eh? No me jodas. Lamentable.
Si el grandote pinta para el fondo, va a ver.
Luego de este canal de Loquendo, te creas otro canal. ¿Qué pasa con el canal de Albariale?
No confío ni en mis papás.
¿O pensaste también en la posibilidad de dejar todo? Hola, por fin
feel like we've got at least another decade or two on this. So excited to see where this is going. How do you think, where do you think we're going over the next 10 years? Like, how do you think crypto will become more adopted by traditional internet users in the next 10 years? And how is Chainlink going to help us get those people on?
So I think there's a slow case and there's a fast case. The slow case is our crypto community, the blockchain community is so large now, and there's so much value in private keys within the blockchain community that you see people launching startups and becoming highly successful, securing hundreds of millions, sometimes billions of dollars in value in the span of a year or two, right? And so now our own ecosystem has grown to the size where people in our ecosystem can become highly successful, make sustainable, well-financed companies that make better and better product offerings, whether those are financial products, insurance, various decentralized identity schemes, various incentives for people to do things offline. And I think there's a slow case where our community slowly continues to grow and reaches a certain tipping point in a slower pattern. I think there is a fast case where when centralized entities abuse their brand and abuse the control that they have over certain types of data, certain types of networks of people, or certain promises about solvency to their users, that